Hello, you guys. Let's talk about slope. Slope is really, really cool. Slope tells you how steep the line is. Okay, so let's look at some definitions. In algebra, they always use an M, the letter M for slope. And I think it's because if you use a mountain to help you understand slope, that might help. But they always use the letter M. And slope is defined as a fraction. It's how much the line rises over how far it goes forward or runs. And so another way to look at it, and we'll do this later, is it's the change in the y values over the change in the x values. So I came up with a way to help you remember, just let the y's rise. It kind of rhymes, so let the y's rise. Okay, take a look at example 1, finding the slope. So this is showing you a water slide. The diagram shows the rise and run of a water slide. Determine the slope of the water slide by finding the ratio of the rise to the run. So remember, slope is always rise over run. And so take a look at the picture. Now I used the blue, my line, to show you. This is the water slide, okay? And so what we typically do with slope is we read it from left to right. So starting here at this point, if I rose straight up, like think of going in a hot air balloon that you rise straight up, or like an elevator goes straight up. So we would have to rise 15, and then to get back to the line, we would have to run forward 12. So I would say the slope was 15, how much I went up, over 12, how much I'm running. That's Fiona, the pug, trying to get her little ball that is, anyway, sorry. And so then I would reduce 15 over 12. I would divide both the top and the bottom by 3 to get 5 over 4. So the water slide has a slope of 5 over 4. So slope looks like fractions. That's what it looks like. And that means it goes up. It's a positive slope. It goes up. Okay, I got Fiona her toy. All right, take a look at formula for slope. So the slope, I told you, they always use an M for the slope, and it's rise over run. So it's going to be the y values, and notice how we subtract the y values over the x values, and notice how we subtract them. That's called the change in y over the change in x. And so an easy way to remember it is let the y's rise. Okay, so positive and negative slopes. Find the slope of the line. So when you read the slope of the line, you want to start from the left-hand side over here, and you read it going to the right. So I would start here, and I notice how it's going up, 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 up to the right. And so they gave us 2 points. They wanted us to look from this point to this point. And it's really easy to count the slope if they give you a picture of it. If they give you a picture of it, all you have to do is count the rise over the run. Okay, and let me show you how to start counting. So if I started here at that blue dot, I would go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 floors up, like an elevator going straight up or a hot air balloon going straight up. Okay, so it's a positive 7. And then to run back to the line, I would have to go 1, 2, 3. So 3 units forward, and that's a positive 3. So if I write M equals rise over run, that would have to be 7 over 3. And I can't reduce or simplify, so my slope is just 7 over 3. And you can leave it like an improper fraction, that's fine. Okay, take a look at B. Now the same thing is, remember, we have to read a line from left to right. So start somewhere here and notice how it's going down, down, down. So when a line is going down, 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 I expect my answer to be negative because it's going down. So let me start at this point. They gave me this point, and then count. And remember, think of the elevator. It has to go straight up or down. So this time it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 floors down. So that's a negative 6. So it didn't actually rise, it fell. So it went down negative 6. But then I still have to run forward to get back to the line. So that's why it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a positive 5. So when I write the slope is rise over run. So that would be negative 6 over 5. And I can't simplify that, so my slope is negative 6 over 5, and you're done. Okay, so let me show you how to find the slope if they give you the points. Now notice how they didn't give me a picture, they just gave me 2 points. Well, we're going to use let the y's rise. So I wrote the points 0, 2, and 5, 5. And then with my red, I circle the y values and I put an arrow going up. So when I write my fraction, write m equals, and then put your fraction bar, and let the y values go straight up. So the 2 was up, I left a space, and the 5 goes up. And then let the x values go down. So 0 and 5 go down in the denominator. And the only thing you have to remember is to put that minus sign between the values. Okay, and then, so I have m equals 2, and then add a line, change the sign. So it's 2 plus negative 5 over 0 plus negative 5. So that gave me negative 3 over negative 5. Well, those two negatives, remember, two negatives when you're dividing makes a positive. So my slope is positive 3 over 5. Okay, take a look at number 2. I wrote the points 9, 4 and 1, 10. And then I circled the y values and I let them go up. All right, circle the y's with your red and let them go up. Then write m equals and put your fraction bar and let the y values go straight up. So I put the 4 up and the 10 up and let the x values come down, 9 and 1. And leave a space in between so you can put that minus sign in between. And now we just use our red and we add a line, change the sign on the minus sign. So m equals 4 plus negative 10, and that made negative 6 in the numerator, and then 9 plus negative 1, and that makes 8 in the denominator. Well, you know negative 6 over 8 I could reduce. I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 2, so I get the slope of negative 3 over 4. Okay, and then take a look at number 3. I have 1, negative 6 and negative 4, 4. So with my red, I circle the y's and let them rise. So I write m equals, and then I let the negative 6 and the 4 go up. So I have negative 6 minus 4, and then in the denominator, I let the x's go down. So it's 1 minus negative 4. And now I'm going to use my red and add a line, change the sign where I see subtraction. So I have m equals negative 6 plus negative 4. And then remember here with those two minus signs, that becomes a big giant plus. So it's 1 plus 4. So I have negative 10 on top over 5. Well, you know you can reduce. You can divide both the top and the bottom by 5. So you get negative 2 over 1. Now you can write m equals negative 2 over 1 like a fraction, or you can just remember that negative 2 divided by 1 gives you negative 2. Okay, now this is really cool, 0 and undefined slopes. Let me show you what they look like. Look at letter A. See the line is going straight up and down? Well, if you have to find the slope of a line going straight up and down, you can just pick 2 points on the line that they gave me. They gave me 4, 6. And remember, I know it's 4 because I started at the origin, I went to the right 4, and then I went up 6. So that gives me 4, 6. And then this point here, I started at the origin, I went to the right 4, and then I went down 1. So that's 4, negative 1. Well, I wrote the points over here, and I let the y's rise. So that gave me m equals, and then it was 6 minus negative 1 over 4 minus 4. Well, then I added a line and changed the sign here. Sorry, Fiona really wants to play today. And so I got 7 over 0. Well, in algebra, we're never, ever, ever allowed to have 0 in the denominator. So we call that undefined. You can't divide by 0, so there's a word for it. It's called undefined. Now, a really cool trick. See how this line goes straight up and down? If you write out the word undefined and you put a capital N in there, that line would match up with this side of the N, and that's how I remember it's undefined. Okay, take a look at B. What if you get a flat line like this? Okay, so again, just pick any 2 points along the line. I picked this point, and remember, starting at the origin, that would be positive 3, positive 2. And then if I want to find the coordinates of this point, I would start at the origin. I went to the right 8 and up 2, so it's 8, 2. And then I wrote the coordinates, and I circled with my red the y's, and I let the y's rise. So I got 2 minus 2 over 3 minus 8. Well, and then I over here I added a line and changed the sign on the subtraction. So I have 2 plus negative 2 is 0 on top, and 3 plus negative 8 is negative 5 in the denominator. Well, 0 divided by anything is just 0. So the slope for this line is 0. Now a fun way to remember a zero slope is think of if I wrote the word 0 with a capital Z, see how this line is the same as this line? So that's another way to help you remember that it's a zero slope. Okay, let's talk about the summary of slope. Now, a few years ago when I was teaching this lesson, I told my students that I loved that your book put in slope guy, because I would always draw slope guy, and I think that he really should be a superhero. I mean, he's right up there with Spider-Man, Superman, all of those, okay? It's the famous slope guy. And I will show you a really cool animation that one of my students made a few years ago, and she was amazing. And anyway, you'll see it. It's really funny. But I can't do the na slope guy, but just pretend I'm doing that. Okay, so a line with a positive slope rises from left to right. So when you read it like a sentence from left to right. And so imagine slope guy starts here and he has to run up this mountain. So anytime he's going up, that's going to give you a positive answer. So the fraction that you get should be positive. Now, a line with a negative slope falls from the left to right. So let's say slope guy was right here and then he skied down the mountain, okay? So he's going down, 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 skiing. So that would be a negative slope. That means your fraction answer that you get would be negative because the line is going down. Now, we talked about 0, but look at a line with a 0 slope is exactly horizontal. It's just a flat line. So I always imagine slope guy just walking casually on a sidewalk. It doesn't take him any energy to do that. So that's a flat line, okay? So that's a 0 slope. And then this situation, a line with an undefined slope is a vertical line going straight up and down. So you can imagine slope guy is like, yeah, he's falling, but don't worry, he never hits anything, he just falls. And you can draw a parachute on here if you just want him to be floating down. All right, but he's going to float down, 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 down forever, okay? So that would be an undefined slope. Okay, and you can lightly cross out example 4 because we're done with this lesson.